All right, timing belt or timing chain. Well, this is what a timing belt looks like. And this one's actually off of a 99 Volvo S70 that I owned. Hopefully the camera picks this up. I did the replacement on the belt because it had cracks developing. There they are, okay. Say no to crack, kids. Always say no to crack. It hadn't broken. It was old. It was actually a little bit past its lifespan. Folding it on the inside, the teeth looked okay. I do see minute cracks starting to develop between the teeth. I have seen belts where teeth actually came off and the engine jump timing and all those interference fit things happened. So this is why we do this replacement, okay? While you're at it, you're going to replace your accessory drive belt. Look at that thing, okay? That thing was really ready to go. And this is what drives all your belt drive accessories on the outside. So plan for doing all of it at the same time. The labor all goes into it together anyways. You're gonna pay a few extra bits on, a little extra money on parts, and you're gonna have yourself a reset on your engine. Idler pulleys. This one is off my Dodge truck. And you can just imagine what that thing sounds like going down the road at a couple thousand RPM. They're cheap. They're like 20 bucks. Replace them. This is a water pump out of a early 2000s Dodge Caravan. And same idea. Here's the pump on the inside, and this is where the pulley would go for the serpentine belt to drive it. And right here is the weeping hole, and if you notice, there's a whole lot of snot on the outside. So this pump was dripping. Now, it wasn't dripping a ton, but it was dripping enough that you'd have coolant leaking out of here, and the velocity of the fan was actually wiping it around the side here, and it was actually basically cooking off on the outside of the water pump, because the coolant, of course, would be hot. This engine would be running at about, I don't know, 95 degrees Celsius. And so it was hot enough to cook the coolant. So this thing was showing signs of leaking, and yet this motorist would not have found anything on the driveway under the vehicle, because the leak was so small that it was basically being evaporated and cooked off as it came out. However, this particular vehicle owner was doing some other service and happened to, make note of this, and so the pump was replaced. So basically you have a seal in here, and you have a seal in here, and you've also got a bearing out here, because you got quite a lot of thrust on this part of the mechanism, because you got a pulley on here and you got a belt pulling on it. So the bearing in here has a lot of torque on it, and once this inner seal fails, coolant starts running out through the opening in here and starts to basically wash out this bearing. So the whole point of that weeper is to give you a notification in advance that your water pump seal has failed. They're not a rebuildable unit, unfortunately, but they're not expensive either. These things are like $35 or $40. More expensive, complex vehicles use more complex, expensive pumps, and you're going to spend a lot more. But this thing's, very basic. And if it is part of a belt drive system, if it's part of your timing belt system, just, even if it's not leaking, replace it, right? You're going to spend an extra $35 or $40. If your timing belt has 90 or 100,000 K on it, so does your pump. So for $40, replace the pump and then buy yourself another 90K or another 100K on your whole system, okay? That's why pumps are included in timing belt kits on engines that have a belt-driven pump.